Hey everyone, it's Melody. I am just doing my weekly update for my weight loss. Um, and after discussing it with Gia, I have decided to try to do like a topic for each video instead of just rambling, which is what I've been doing thus far. So, as of yesterday, I'm down 122 pounds, 122 pounds. I weigh 291 and life is good. Everything's good. My clothes are still, getting too big, or they are too big. I have like tons of clothes in my closet that are too big. Um, I just discovered my three skirts that I've been wearing forever yesterday are too big though. They're elastic waist, so I figured, like how long would it take for those to be too big? But yeah, they're too big. I can't wear them. I'm gonna take a picture of I'm going to take a picture of myself in the clothes that I wore last January when I started my journey. And I'll see if I can figure out how to put it up here, like a before, a January to January in the same clothes so that there's a little comparison type thing. Um, so my topic for this video is about my reasons or information that I found while deciding to become pescatarian or vegetarian. And like I said before, pescatarian is when you only eat chicken and fish, but no beef or anything else. Um, and then, of course, vegetarian is no meat whatsoever. And then vegan is no animal products whatsoever. So I'm not thinking about going vegan necessarily, although I may eat some items that are vegan. Anyway, the thing is I got my vegetarian starter kit from PETA uh, this last week, and it was really really interesting. It kind of made you like not ever want to eat meat again. They go into detail about how the part that affected me. They actually have a lot of information in there, but the part that affected me was the stories on what actually happens to the animals that we're eating. Um, they kind of keep them in really really bad conditions, and they pump them full of chemicals, full of steroids, full of hormones, full of antibiotics. Um, the cows basically stand in their own crap and I mean feces, um, up to their legs. They can't move, it's holding them still. They're in these little confined containers that, don't allow them enough room to even turn around. The babies are taken away from their mothers, and the mothers are basically used, they get the milk from the mothers until they can no longer produce milk. And then they slaughter them, and then they immediately start trying to use the babies for you. If they don't go for veal, then they go for, is it veal or is veal deer? Veal. Okay, I'm thinking venison. If they don't go for veal, then which usually they do, but then the ones that don't, they get them to where they're starting to reproduce, as soon as possible, and then it begins again. They end up, I don't know, it's just bad. And then the chickens, oh, the poor chickens, they pump them full of hormones, growth hormones, make them really really big, to get the most meat possible. They kill the little male chicks because they don't have any use for them. So they slaughter like tons of male chicks a year. And the way that they slaughter them, they don't just like put them out of their misery, or it's not even misery. They're like little chicks, but they don't just like do it humanely. They drop them into these um, fast speeds. What is it? What am I thinking of? The fast rotating grinders.
Oh, grinders.
They drop them alive into these grinders, and that's the way they, they kill them, or it's just ridiculous. And then let's see, the chickens, they get them so plump that they can't even stand up on their own feet. And of course, if they don't stand in their feet on their own feet, they can't move to get to where the food is, because the food is all kept in the center of the room in these big hen house type things with no windows, and just tons and tons of chickens in there, and the chickens have peed and poop everywhere, so the smell in there is horrible. And the chickens are breathing this, and then so the ones who can't get to the food, they die, of course, of starvation. Um, and then the other ones are just pumped full of all these chemicals, and then they take them out in the middle of the night, and then take them to the slaughterhouse and slaughter them in more inhumane ways. And it's the same for the pigs, the same for the fish. The fish, I mean, like, what can you do to fish? But the thing about the fish is that they do keep them in these containers. If they're not kept in like an ocean area tank, um, where they're raised in this enclosed area, but it's in the ocean, they keep them in these large fish tank. Basically, it's large tanks, and there's tons and tons of them in there. And then, of course, they are concerned about there being so many of them in there. They're concerned about disease and things like that. So they fill the tanks, not only, with the water or whatever, but then they pump a ton of antibiotics in there, which, of course, if you know anything about antibiotics, the more antibiotics are used, the less effective they are. So it's not only by, us going to the doctor and getting a prescription for antibiotics, it's what antibiotics have our animals been given as well. The food that we're eating, what has that been treated? It's in our system. So, and then they just drain the tanks when they're ready to kill them, when they're ready to, use them for food or whatever. They drain the tanks, and then they suffocate. Um, so it's just really interesting. If you're interested in learning any more about that, go to the PETA website, or you can also ask for the kit. It's free. They send it right to you. It's free, and it's just horrendous. I just did not know. So now I'm kind of like, oh, those poor little animals. I don't want to support an industry that treats the animals like that. It's cruel and unusual, treatment. So that's kind of where I am now, as far as why I think about the animals now when I'm getting ready to eat something that's meat. I'm like, oh, these poor little chickens. Yes. Denise made Gia. She made a lobster for me yesterday. That was my New Year's meal. Yeah, and I couldn't eat it because it had a face. I was just like, no, take it away. I can't. It was just looking at me. It was like looking like, why are you about to eat me? This is wrong. So, yeah, I'm totally turning into this humanitarian person or something. I have no idea where this is coming from, but anyway, yeah, it's here. So, what can I do? So yeah, that's kind of my motivation behind it. It partly. The other part is that it's just a really healthy choice. It's healthier to not eat meat than eat meat. That's just, there's so many studies out there that have shown, your diet, um, can, just by changing your diet, you can cure different illnesses that your body has, different diseases like heart disease, and of course high cholesterol, and even cancer. Just by changing your diet. And these diets that they're changing to, 9 times out of 10, I want to say 10 times out of 10, are plant-based diets. So it's just a healthier choice. So that's kind of where I'm coming from with that. So I'm like the last person I thought would be a vegetarian, but it kind of seems like it's going that way. So anyway, I hope everyone is doing well on their journeys. If you have any questions for me, um, or you want to know how I lost 122 pounds, or how I plan to lose 100 pounds this year, another 100 pounds this year, you can, of course, comment or inbox me or any of that good stuff. So take care. See you next week.